None of my friends live there.
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of Peters Township Council to order for Monday, October 10th, 2022. Roll call, please. Roll call.
Dr. Barsko will not be here tonight. Ms. Shenefeld?
I'm here.
Mr. Curry?
Here.
Mr. Steigel?
Present.
Mr. Kozer?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Roth?
Here.
Okay, all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion, edits, anything? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. No special reports. So audience comments. This is an opportunity for members of the audience to address council on a non-agenda item for up to 5 minutes. Is there anybody from the audience who wishes to address council? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move into unfinished business, which appears to be none, so we'll go to new business. First item will be a resolution authorizing distribution of municipal pension funds.
So each year, under the General Municipal Pension System State Aid Program, municipalities throughout the Commonwealth receive an allocation of funds to offset their pension obligations. In 2023, the amount that was received was $523,225. This is slightly less than the amount that was received last year, and it will help offset a total pension obligation of approximately $1,006,000 this year. So it's my recommendation that council adopt resolution 10-122 authorizing the distribution of municipal pension.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. Next item will be a statement of the minimum municipal obligation associated with employees' pension. I guess we're just acknowledging receipt.
You're acknowledging receipt of that.
So moved. So second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. C will be a resolution authorizing appropriate township official to file a grant application to the Washington County Local Share Grant Program. I guess that'll be for the slide on
Hidden
Valley
Valley
Road.
Road. Yes.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. D will be a conditional use decision related to the proposed development at 324 Venetia Road, which we had a public hearing on 2 weeks ago. I don't believe there was any public comments or any issues from council on that. Is there anything changed since then?
There was, I just so that you understand, the conditions that were shown at the public hearing have remained the same, except there has been an additional condition added that captures what I think Mr. Lewis was concerned about. There'll be no outdoor storage materials, including but not limited to equipment, vehicles, or trailers.
All right, I'll make a motion that council approve the proposed development of an office warehouse on property located at 324 Venetia Road, subject to the 12 conditions recommended by the Peters Township Planning Commission and the Peters Township Planning Department, and that the township manager be authorized to issue a conditional use decision consistent with council's approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from council? Audience, property owners, anything? Okay.
You're winning, so.
Yeah, less is more. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. Item D will be award of a contract to outfit police cars under the Pennsylvania Purchasing Program CoStars.
So on August 22nd, council authorized the purchase of 2 police vehicles, which will be delivered and paid for in 2023. Those vehicles need to be outfitted, and just as it is the case with the cars, we have a concern about the availability of the equipment to outfit those. So what we would like to do is to have council award a contract to East Coast Emergency Lighting under the CoStars program in the amount of $24,945 for outfitting those cars so that the equipment can be ordered now so that it is available when the cars are available to us.
What's that do in terms of the budget between the police cars and the outfitting?
It'll have no impact on the 2022 budget. We'll incorporate it into the 2020.
And that's a do not exceed, right, amount?
But it was
That
all in
is the amount.
That is the amount.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we award the contract to East Coast Emergency Lighting, Inc. under the CoStars program in the amount of $24,945.88 for outfitting the 2 police cars in connection with the estimate dated August 16, 2022.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Where would the fit-out take place?
In Somerset.
So we are driving vehicles to Somerset.
No, sir.
No,
No, sir. The vehicles are being purchased from Laurel Ford in Somerset. This upfitter is nearby. The car will go straight from Laurel Ford to the upfitter, and then they will deliver the cars.
Thank you.
That's good.
Any other discussion items? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. Item F will be authorization of the police department to submit an application to the Pennsylvania Game Commission for the purpose of continuing the sharpshooter program.
So on December 20th of 2021, council authorized the Peters Township Police Department to initiate a sharpshooter program for the purposes of managing the deer population. The program commenced on February 1st and ended on March 5th, and the police department met its goal of harvesting 125 deer from the township. At the conclusion of the program, a report was issued, and it was distributed to council at that time, but I've included a copy in the docket this year. So what's really before council is, and this needs to occur on an annual basis, is an authorization to submit an application to the State Game Commission for a sharpshooter program for 2023. Chief Grimes is in the audience if you have any questions.
Would the shoot once again be conducted in the winter after the archery season is over? I don't know if I saw that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Same properties as last year.
Yes, there's one additional property in that particular program.
And the archery program, do we have more people this year in it? Or?
We do. It's out of 7 new people. 4 people in the archery program were dismissed for failure to produce. Everyone in the program for this year was advised at the beginning of the year they had a minimum of 2 deer that they had to kill to remain in the program for next year in an effort to try to establish some consistency with that program. And so we'll see where that leads. But so 4 were kicked out, 7 new brought in, so there's an additional 3 hunters over the year before.
Any other questions from council?
Nope.
Audience? Joe?
Speak to council. Am I good here?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
All right, Joe McLaughlin. I'm here every time when we talk about the deer. I'm a little confused because this was a pilot program, so I'm assuming we're going to do it every year now? Is that what it is? I thought last year was a pilot program, so have we dubbed it a success and we're just going to continue to do it? I haven't read.
Well, I think that's why it's up for discussion and vote now.
Okay. That wasn't quite clear to me. I still would like to see the Game Commission numbers on exactly how many deer are killed by township residents or people hunting in the township. We haven't seen that yet. I'm sure the Game Commission could produce that for us. It would help us establish that number that they want to harvest a little more accurately. And if I remember last time, we did not even include the numbers that farmers like Simmons were taking, which they probably took as many as our policemen did. So trying to establish that data doesn't seem to be extremely accurate. It seems to be kind of a guess. And I think we might spend 30 grand. That's the number they say we spend on this. I would guess it's higher. I think there's probably a more needy family or somebody in the township, a veteran or older person that could use the help and spend the money a little more wisely.
Thanks. Anybody else?
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
My name's Jim Nassif. I live on 185 Springdale.
Are we still?
Yes,
is there a sign sheet?
write
Put your name and address on
your
the floor.
address on there. That would be helpful to
You're
them.
making it official now, huh?
Yeah.
We don't want to misspell your name in the
Just think, you
minutes.
got a solid alibi.
You want the address too?
Yeah, street address.
Joe, did you put yours on?
No.
But we'll know Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, we have.
Joe, we know Mr. McLaughlin.
Okay. Anyways, This gentleman was concerned about the increase in deer. Last year on our property, which I'm told is 7.98 acres, 8 acres. Last year I would see anywhere from 7 to 10 deer running. Late Saturday night, 15 deer bedded down. I can't tell you how much money I spend just on replacing shrubs just to keep the place looking right. And it's just ridiculous. Going to church on Sunday morning, almost hit one. And on my property, came right over the hill from on my property onto Springdale. So you got to get rid of these damn things, and they're just a nuisance. And as far as the kids go, kids playing in the fields and stuff, you don't see kids out playing like you used to. But anyways, they carry the deer virus or whatever the heck it is these insects have. They're just a pain. They're a nuisance, and they eat everything. So my vote is kill them.
Okay.
My name's Mary Ann Mead. I will. So my name's Mary Ann Mead. My husband and I live at 602 Bower Hill Road. We were part of the program last year. We have 6 acres in the back, and every day, 17. I understand from the officers that we were the second highest number of deer taken off our property. I think 12. Now, it is definitely decreased, but now with the babies all being born, my son walked down the lane the other day and there was a mom nursing 2 babies right on our driveway. So the population has started to increase. The damage to our landscaping it's just insane. My husband sprays that deer off. We have a dog, so we have to use year-round tick protection. So I'm in favor of it. The officers were fabulous. They notified us. They came. We never knew they were there. The deer were taken out before. I mean, the program went flawlessly in our opinion. So we are in support of it again so that it can at least control the population in our area a little bit better.
Can I ask you, did you, prior to this program, were you a participant in the Township Archery Program?
So, no, because I was not familiar.
Okay.
Our babysitter was one of the archery persons, and she did take care of one deer, but no, we were not. Last year was the first year because I read about it on the website.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will agree they're a terrible nuisance, and I should have brought the photo with me. I planted a gum tree in my yard last year, and because the sweet leaves, the deer will eat them, so I thought I could fix it by putting in 6 rebar stakes and mesh all around the tree. And the mesh, I hadn't kept the mesh up just enough off the ground so I could get the lawnmower underneath. Well, couldn't figure out why the 3 sets of limbs at the lower part of the tree were all still missing their leaves. Well, one day, my neighbor was leaving for work early and he took a picture of a deer who had gotten down on its haunches and had climbed under the fence, this much clearance. And it climbed under the fence and was sitting inside the fence still munching on the tree. So they are resourceful, but you are right. They cause a terrible amount of damage. So I will make a motion that council authorize and...
Can I say
I'm sorry.
because I always did. Now, just to be clear, you're telling us to keep us from having car accidents, right? Correct. That's the
Deer-related accidents, right?
okay. That was my concern. And shrubbery damage, I don't think anybody can control that. It's going to happen.
Unless you plant things that they don't eat.
And as I said last year, I wish we would take it proactive and work with the Game Commission to open our township to an area where we could bait deer to hunt. And that would not only save us money, but would also help the people who are having shrubbery damage and property damage because of that. It's a little forward thinking other than just kill them. Because then you would have hunters being able to harvest them basically during the daylight the same way as our police officers do at night, sitting in a stand over a bait pile shooting them, or at least get a hunter, many of the residents are hunters, a chance to do that and probably kill way more deer than the police do.
Do we have a motion in a second on that?
I didn't make the motion yet. I'll make a motion that council authorize an application to the State Game Commission for a sharpshooter program for 2023, and at the conclusion of the program, a report be issued containing information as to the effectiveness and costs of the program.
Second.
Motion.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this going to come up every year, the issue of this?
That is totally up to
I
council.
think it should, because
Yeah, and that's what our intention is and instruction up to this point.
what the target is, less than 60 vehicle collisions.
65.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah, can you come up again? Sorry.
Again, do we have to?
Yeah.
Did we have more car accidents last year than the year before since we had the
Well,
shooting?
it says 94 in 2021, and it says they've been approximately 40
Today.
to date.
Yeah.
But, we're coming in, when's that, Russ? That
Yeah,
starts
that's-
like around an
3
hour.
weeks or so,
Yeah,
end of the month.
so
But-
I'd like to see that number.
Yeah, but, and you will as soon as.
Yeah, I would say that if we hit that target, we don't need to continue with it. We can just proceed with
So we're voting on just the
Just the
application
permit.
or the whole program?
just the permit right now. Yeah, and I've said before, I think that we could have done a better job over the years through the archery program and reaching out to landowners and getting licensed hunters doing this for us.
Free.
Yeah. But
Well, if a hunter has a license in Washington County, what kind of weapon can he use in Peters Township?
it depends on the property. If you can be
So
100,
on my property, I could use a slug gun.
if you can,
And if the police come, if your people come on my property, there's no ricochet, there's a backdrop to where they'll be shooting. And if, like this fellow wants to bait them, they can bait all they want on my property.
Well, that's not allowed.
yeah, it's not, yeah, the state doesn't allow it in this section of the state. Have you, I didn't ask you, prior to the sharpshooter program, did you have archers hunting on your property?
Yes, one.
Okay. Were you a part of the township's archery program?
No. And he didn't kill it. He missed.
Yeah.
He missed.
Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Carries 5-1. Item G will be an amendment to the labor contract between the Teamsters Local 205 and, which represent the Peters Township police officers in Peters Township.
The Peters Township School District has asked the township for the services of 3 additional school resource officers. In addition to that, it appears that the Washington County Intermediate Unit may well want a school resource officer as well. Towards that end, we've accepted applications, but what we're running into is what police departments are running into nationwide. There's a very limited number of people interested in pursuing a career as a police officer. With this, I think one of the advantages of this amendment would provide for seasonal positions, and it would increase the pool of possible candidates. Our intention is, regardless of whether they're working, are interested in working a full-time status or a seasonal status, is to hire the best individuals for those positions. So from that standpoint, it's going to be my recommendation that council authorize the appropriate officials to enter into an amendment to the labor agreement so as to provide for seasonal SROs.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Chief, do you have anything? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. Final item under new business will be the Councilman Internship Initiative. Mr. Kosers.
Mr. Kozer or me? Which?
Go ahead, Mr. Lauer.
One of the things that we discovered is that the Boroughs Association, the state of Pennsylvania, has what they refer to as a junior councilperson program. And what it's intended to do is provide students with an opportunity to engage in governmental activities with the goal of developing leadership skills. The Boroughs Association has a set of guidelines that for their program. Mr. Kozer and I had a chance to speak. I think that we could actually do this in a way that could actually provide a more meaningful experience for students by getting them not only to interact with council, but also to interact with the township's staff, particularly its professional staff. So what I am suggesting is that you give us an opportunity to actually draft a program, working with Mr. Kozer to do that, and to bring that back to council for the purpose of enacting a very specific program.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. Payroll and bills.
Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed the payroll and bills. I find them to be in order. I move they be approved as submitted.
Second.
Okay, the motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 6-0. Correspondence.
There's a letter actually an email from an individual thanking the fire department not only for its open house, but for their assistance in helping with numerous 911 calls for their son.
Very appreciated. Thank you.
Anything in the minutes that anybody would like to discuss? I'll just note that there was a bit of change in directorship at the Peters Creek Cemetery Authority, which I think was a welcome change.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Miscellaneous. Is there anything to
If
discuss?
you will recall, we had a request in from someone to have our youth protection policy as it relates to the frequency of background checks. The state of Pennsylvania requires background checks for individuals interacting with children every 5 years. It's been the township's policy that these occur every 3 years. The Park and Rec Board reviewed that request, and they're of the opinion that it's appropriate that every 3 years continue with having the background checks. So
I disagree. I think the 5 years is plenty. It's a time-consuming process, and we're not even aligned. If you coach multiple sports, you have to do it continuously. Every other township, the school district's 5 years. I don't understand why we wouldn't be the same.
And these policies are policies that are adopted by council. So what council wants to do with regard to that is up to them. So
Didn't, at one point, we have the ability to do those in-house at the police department? Am I remembering
we
that
used to
correctly?
have the ability to do the FBI
Just the
fingerprint check.
But
The
we don't
state
need
of
to do that
Pennsylvania,
now, right?
you can't, because the state of Pennsylvania changed its provider, and that provider does not allow for organizations like us to be able to do that.
Is there any way to coordinate it with, if you are already approved through the school district, that it would carry over? Because
Well, if you were approved by the school district, you have the 3 forms of identification.
Right.
You just Xerox them and take them to the next place.
okay, because was it like that before? Because I remember having to do it twice, one for the township for sports, but then one for the school to volunteer.
They're all the
So
same.
It
They're all the
was
same.
not. It wasn't. I don't know if the state wasn't then.
No, they've always been all the same. So what you do is simply Xerox those up and
Okay.
take them to whoever the next person
What's
is.
different is the school district's 5 years. The rec is 3 years.
Right, yes.
Yeah, if the school district's only doing 5, I don't see a reason
Why would
that
we
we
just
shouldn't
stick with
be
what
able to
they
do
do?
the same thing.
Is the state 5 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
We required background checks before the state of Pennsylvania did.
Oh,
And so we set it at 3.
I didn't know that.
Oh, no, trust me, when we did this, there was a lot of pushback. When the state adopted their rules, it's 5. So if you were, the library staff, it's 5 years. If you're a teacher, it's 5 years. Our sports associations, and this has gone to the Park and Rec Board a couple times already, and they're of the opinion that 3 years is appropriate, but that's up to
But
council.
what's their reasoning that 3 years is better than 5, if that's all the state requires?
That I can't tell you. I'm not sure myself at this point, because, and this is me speaking, certainly not the Park and Rec Board, I think the real value of these kind of things is on the initial one. The fact of the matter is, if these kind of incidents were occurring, as somebody who's actively involved in a youth activity, it would be known. So
I'd like to
think that,
propose a motion to table this and ask for a representation from the Park and Rec Committee to come in and explain their logic to us before we vote.
Well, I don't think there's a vote, is there right now?
There's nothing to vote on, but if you want me to get a representative of Park and Rec Board here to explain this, that'd be fine. You know, they used to come in for quarterly reports. Maybe we can get them in to do that and explain this at the same time.
Yeah, you're right. I was actually going to ask you about that. Why did the quarterly reports stop?
I don't, I'll be honest with you, I didn't, until I was just sitting here right now, it just dawned on me we haven't seen them.
They decided to do it every 5 quarters.
I have one other thing under miscellaneous. And trust me, I get political signs and the importance of them in the political process. We have 3 gardens in the community that are on township property that we pay volunteer groups to take care of. This one's done by the Lexington Garden Club. And if you were elsewhere on township property, like at the Rotary Plaza, if you put a sign up there, it will be removed because it's park property. I don't know that these signs are appropriate inside of the gardens that are being done by the Garden Club or being done by the Cub Scouts.
I agree.
And unless somebody objects, my intention is to take those down, and we'll do as we do with these signs, place them downstairs for someone to pick up.
I'm sorry, where did you say that was? Is it at Thomas and McMurray?
This is at Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah. And as you can see, it's equal opportunity. It's both Democrats and Republicans.
And there's always been a significant number of them at Center Church.
Yes, and I think being on that property is one thing, but being in the garden is another thing up at Center Church. I think.
No, I don't know why they would put them in the bed. I mean, why wouldn't they just?
Well,
put
because
them in
they're
the ground?
easier to stick them in the ground.
No, or
And
for
you don't have
grass
to mow
cutting.
around.
Yeah, I was going to say, it may very well have been the lawnmower guy that put them there.
That could be too. So that's all I have.
Anything for next agenda? Seeing none, we'll call this.
Anybody else?
No? Okay. We're adjourned.